I know your guys talk bad about me and you got a really bad snick about me, but I'm gonna make sure you talk about me. Your grandkids and kids after that are gonna know about me. I'm gonna make sure that they're never gonna forget about me. The great grandkids are gonna say, wow, wasn't that a bizarre individual?
Viewers, I bring your attention to one of the greatest boxers in the history of the sport. A boxer unafraid of the entire heavyweight division, with a personality that will be remembered for eternity. Meet Iron Mike Tyson. Here, I present you with 5 times that Iron Mike went toe-to-toe with greatness. November 16, 1987, young Mike Tyson, who was at his peak, faced another undefeated boxer with a 15-0 record. Tyrell Biggs was an Olympic champion that spoke harshly about Tyson ahead of the fight.
I believe that what I've been through, and as good as I am, I know that I know how good I am. And for me to have been criticized and whole shot, I mean, I owe it to myself to go out there and beat Michael Tyson like I am his dad. He's made for me, Ty's son. I owe it to myself to go out there and beat this fella and be called the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
At the outset, Biggs tried to mimic the same movements of vintage Muhammad Ali, but why even try? Biggs abandoned this strategy after the first round, as these movements did not play to his strengths. His blows were still much worse than those of the greatest. Tyson dodged almost all of Biggs's punches. Those blows that landed left Iron Mike unfazed. Tyson's style was kryptonite for Tyrell Biggs. Tyson was quick, so he effortlessly closed the distance with a hook, jumping up and down. Already in round 4, this meeting looked more like a one-sided beating than a fight between 2 undefeated champions. Tyson tore his opponent to pieces. Apparently, Biggs soured his promise to beat Mike. He just tried to survive. A change of pace in rounds 6 and 7. Biggs constantly clinched Tyson, an excellent tactic against knockers, neutralizing their punching power while tied up.
Combinations, and Kevin Rooney is, if your legs are going, stand there and fight him. Stand toe-to-toe and fight him. In the last round, our punch left comes in. Biggs tries to...
But 30 seconds before the end of the 7th round, Tyson throws a heavy left hook that sends the Olympic champion to the ropes. Although Biggs managed to stand up, the end was in sight. Iron Mike maintained an excellent combo to the body before moving on to blows to the head. He threw a right hook and then a left hook from which the opponent fell. The referee stops the fight, and Mike Tyson wins by 7th round knockout, mere seconds before the end of the round. Iron Mike exhibited simply monstrous strength in those years.
And let me say this for you to learn. There is a way to stop a guy coming in.
June 24th, 2000. Already old enough for a boxer, Mike Tyson fought against Lou Savarese. Towards the end of his career, Tyson was fighting inner demons. In a 2013 statement, Tyson admitted that in the last years of his boxing career, he was consuming marijuana and cocaine and using other people's urine to pass a doping test before the fight. This led to uncontrollable aggression during and after the fight. At the very beginning of the first segment of this bout, Tyson knocked Savarese down with a left hook. Rising to his feet to continue the meeting, Tyson pounced on Savarese to finish him off. After Savarese's punches inexplicably misfired, the referee attempted to step in. Iron Mike, in turn, ignored the referee and uncontrollably continued to throw blows, scoring a caution. Angry, Tyson accidentally struck the referee with his fist, dropping him to the mat. After standing, the referee again demanded to stop the fight, to which Tyson finally took the hint. Confusion ensued, and nobody knew what the outcome would be. However, in the end, Tyson was awarded a victory by technical knockout despite his conduct.
Within seconds, Savarese went down to that after a barrage. Relatively brief.
After 35 professional boxing matches, Iron Mike went into fight against an undefeated boxer, Michael Spinks, who had a record of 31 wins and 0 losses. On this day, a large number of eminent people gathered. The whole world was in front of their screens for a fight considered one of the most intriguing in recent memory. Even if Tyson remained undefeated, people assumed that Spinks would keep this match competitive. But everyone was mistaken, and people assumed too much. On June 27, 1988, Tyson dispelled Spinks without batting an eye. Spinks stood firm and was ready to fight Mike, but if you want to challenge Tyson's power, then you're going to have problems. First, Mike threw a heavy combination on the body and forced Spinks to kneel. Spinks managed to stand up, and the referee continued the fight. However, mere seconds later, Tyson throws both a left hook and a right uppercut that completely knocked Spinks out. Mike Tyson wins by first-round knockout against the guy largely considered the most dangerous adversary in his career. Tyson inspired wild fear in his opponents, and it is understandable why. June 28, 1997. Tyson met in a rematch against Evander Holyfield. I simply could not help myself from including this one. Tyson did not win this fight, but many would say there was no fight at all, despite Holyfield's victory on points. The fight itself only lasted 3 rounds, and Iron Mike was pissed off to the max. Perhaps Tyson was frustrated with Holyfield's constant clinching. But in round 3, 40 seconds before the bell, the fighters emerged abruptly from a clinch after Iron Mike bites Holyfield hard on the right ear and spits out a reminder in the ring. Holyfield, caught off guard, didn't know what to do. Who would have expected that? Tyson pushed Holyfield onto the ropes after the bite. Holyfield said years later that he was prepared to bite Tyson in response, but after consulting with his corner, he was told to remember God and thought twice. It seemed that the fight needed to be stopped, but after a delay, the fight continued. 20 seconds before the end, the athletes again entered the clinch, and Tyson bit Evander's other ear. Holyfield was so enraged that, according to him, he wanted to kick Tyson with all his might, but again remembered God and decided against it. Holyfield was understandably furious, could not understand what was happening, and did not understand where to be. Anger overwhelmed him, and nobody would blame him for that. Because of his actions, Tyson was disqualified, and Evander Holyfield was recognized as the victor. Although the fight has been over for 24 years, people haven't forgotten about this incident. Fortunately, the boxers have reconciled their differences. I think we are unlikely to ever see such ruthlessness again. In October 1980, Larry Holmes met with Muhammad Ali. At that time, Muhammad was 38 years old. Ali had health problems, and in fact, it is not clear how he was even allowed to fight that evening.
You guys just not be able to do it. He was as great as he once was.
All I know is that he can still handle it with class, so he's always handled
Pretty a classy guy in every sense of the word. The man is standing there and kicking you.
Holmes easily disrupted Ali, and in the 10th round, Ali's corner stopped the fight because there was no point in continuing this beating. Ali's only defeat in his professional career. A young Tyson, who was 14 years old at the time, watched the fight. Sometime later, Tyson's coach called Ali to ask him how he could have lost to Holmes in the first place, who, in his opinion, was not even close to the level of the greatest. After Ali passed the torch to Tyson, Iron Mike promised to beat Larry Holmes for Ali and his coach, Cus D'Amato. On January 22, 1988, Mike Tyson meets Larry Holmes for the world title. At the time of the fight, Holmes was past his prime, but he was not afraid of the young champion and continued to resist Tyson. However, after the first round, it was clear that years had taken their toll and Holmes was unlikely to succeed. Heavy right hook from Iron Mike knocks down the former champion. Holmes rises and the fight continues. Tyson, sensing blood in the water, explodes again and again sends Holmes to the ground. Holmes gets up again. Credit to the storied fighter. Not everyone gets up from Iron Mike's punches. In short order, however, Tyson again pounces on the already dumbfounded Holmes and continues to throw heavy punches, and the last right hook puts an end to this fight. Holmes is knocked out, and Tyson becomes the first person to finish Holmes off ahead of schedule. This fight ended in the 4th round, but Cus D'Amato was not destined to see the fight. Although Cus died 3 years before this confrontation, Iron Mike kept his promise to him and dropped Holmes. After the fight, Larry Holmes apologized for all his statements. This is the end of our video. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to press the like button, leave your comments, as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.